Hello, great having you for another edition of 21 Minutes with KKB. My name is Kwabena Chenche Hineboating, and of course, you do know it's that time of the season where scores of graduates of several tertiary institutions are beginning to, find their feet in the fields of work, and some are having to, do their national service. Some choose to call it national suffering. Today, I'm going to speak to a gentleman who knows all about this very service and will be taking us through some of the challenges that have clouded this entire process over the period and the kind of interventions that have been put in place to ensure that the several people who are this time around doing their national service how they wouldn't have to go through so much stress in getting this thing through. My name is Kwabena Chenche Hineboating. I'll return shortly with this interview. Stay with us. Mustapha Ussif is the Executive Director of the National Service Secretariat. Today, he's my guest on 21 Minutes with KKB. Mustapha, good morning.
Good morning.
To see you.
Chenche, how are you?
I am very well.
Good,
I'm very well.
Good.
Only thing is, I am told you are chasing a few people. You want to put some people in jail.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, so tell us about this thing about why, of course, we'll talk about a lot of things that are being done here at the NSS Secretariat. But why do you want to jail people? Why?
Oh, it's not about jailing people, but we are just at a point when we think that the Act 426 of 1980, the law that established national service, should be complied with. You have agencies that employ people who haven't done national service, and that is against the law. It is an offense for any company, whether private or public, to engage persons who haven't gone through national service, and our act is very clear on that. So if you get an act, you look at section 7 of the act, it says no person should be able to engage in any activities in terms of job without going through national service. So in effect, employers are to ensure that whoever they are going to engage or recruit, they should cross-check to ensure that the person has gone through national service. National service is mandatory, as you know.
Yeah.
And you have gone through it, I've gone through it. Everybody, once you're above 18 years, you are supposed to go through it. Then at least give 1 year to serve this country. It is therefore unfair for people who have served this country and they have similar qualification like you to be denied the jobs, whilst those who haven't served this country should be given the opportunity. So we are only cautioning the general public that and employers that we have an enforcement team that we've set up now to ensure that our law, the law that was passed by Parliament, at least we should make sure that we comply with the law.
How is this thing going to work out? So let's say I'm a business owner, I've employed certain people, I'm working with them. I don't even know whether or not they've done their national service, but I just know they were unemployed. They've applied, I feel they have the requisite qualification and the competence, so I employ them, I'm working with them, and then one day I have officials of the National Service Secretariat barge in and do what? Arrest me? How is it going to work?
That's why people like you, as an employer, we are then putting it in the public domain, so that if you don't know that there's a law called Act 426, which makes it mandatory that anybody that you are going to engage, that person might have gone through national service, then you should know now. So that our enforcement teams will come to your office, then ask for your HR director to go through the HR files of your employees. Those who haven't done national service will be given opportunity, okay, to do it, to go through the national service, so that we don't even want to take them from you because they are already engaged and they are working. Okay. All what we'll do for them is to ensure that they register with us. Then we redeploy them to you, the same person that they are working with. So because we have people who are already engaged, they are already employed, and we call them study leave, and they go for further studies. And that's why even our application process, we will ask you whether you are already employed. And if you indicate yes, we will ask for the details of your employer. So that in our deployment process, it will help us to deploy to exactly where you are already working, so that we don't get you out of the job.
Okay.
We try to, as much as possible, to ensure that we make it very easy for everyone. So that because you might have some skills that the employer needs or the agency need or the user agency need. And we don't want the user agency to suffer just because national service is taking you away.
Okay.
We ordinarily will give you the same person. But we also want to use this opportunity to draw attention to all employers, user agencies, both private and public, that We have laws in this country.
And the laws must be respected.
And the laws must be respected. National Service Act 426 is a law that was established not by me, by the country. And that law must be respected by all youth agencies. So in your recruitment process, we have thousands of graduates coming from universities, and they sacrifice. This year alone, we've deployed over 100,000. And it is unfair for these 100,000 service personnel, some of them deployed to very remotest part of this country. And they've accepted to serve this country in those areas. Then when they finish, they are not given opportunity. Those who haven't served this country are rather given the opportunity. It's unfair.
Okay, so just a quick clarification here. So it's not that you are seeking to distort anybody's work, or you are seeking to prosecute or jail people.
No,
you just want to make sure that the laws are complied with. And that, okay. So what if you get to an employer who is not very keen on cooperating with you? What happens?
Oh, if you're not keen with us, once the law also make provision for our board, my board to make a determination. Okay. Once my board, we write to you, we know, and we also indicate to you that this is the law of national service. If you engage somebody who has not gone through national service, we expect that the person should be go through. We just report you to the appropriate agencies.
I see. I do know now, for instance, that the NSS has gone high tech. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
The kind of NSS we used to know is not what we are seeing now. Now, for instance, I was reading somewhere, and I had someone visit the site to see how the system goes. For instance, if someone has gone through national service and has done the service, and once a certificate, he can just go online, apply, and get it, in 6 hours, 5 hours? How does that work?
When I assumed office, I did visitation of our various offices across the country.
Okay.
So I visited the northern region, I visited the Volta region, I visited the western region. Then once in my visitation, we realized that we have backlog of certificates in our various offices, and staff don't even have space to work. So I decided to bring in reforms. So what we did is that we then compile all backlog certificates. Then we have a certificate room in each region. And this certificate room, we have done shelves for these certificates. And we've uploaded everything online. So as we sit, real time, I know that I have more than 280,000 certificates online currently. And on daily basis, on real time, I see people requesting for their certificates. So wherever you are, we made it possible for people to be able to request for it to be delivered to them by whether where they are working or their homes, if they provide their addresses, or you can just apply for it and said you do self pickup. So the self pickup, once you apply, but at the time you get to our office, because there is an officer already on the system working, he knows that you will come. You've indicated that you are doing self pickup on this day.
Okay.
So before you get there, you spend just 5 minutes and pick your certificate and go away.
Okay.
So that people don't have to come and queue waiting to get certificate whole day. So these are the new systems and new reforms we are putting in place using IT.
One of the issues that has come up, and I've known this for a long time, I have seen and heard a lot of people complain about it, has to do with how we put square pegs in round holes. So for instance, we have someone who has studied, say, business administration, and then by the way, do you still have those traffic wardens?
Yeah,
okay.
This year we didn't do traffic warden. Okay. My board have decided that going forward, the traffic management program we should rather focus on entrepreneurship, because we have a number of graduates coming out of the universities, and just like I said before, about 100,000 yearly, and for the last 5 years, what we have realized that we have more than 400,000 service personnel graduated from national service. And the question is, can the economy, both the private sector and the public sector, absorb these numbers? And the answer is simple no. So what do we do? As national service, yes, it is our mandate to get them to deploy to do national service, but we also have a role to play to ensure that the people we are deploying, once they finish, they're able to at least be on their own and be able to have a good living. So we are introducing the entrepreneurship and innovation model, where we expect that service personnel will be assigned to successful entrepreneurs in this country. So if you are an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, we deploy the service personnel to you. We, National Service, will take the tax of paying the service personnel. It is not your responsibility. But we expect that you take these service personnel through the value chain of your entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So if you are, for instance, doing pottery, we expect that the service personnel at the end of the 1 year of national service should come out with a business plan that is very feasible and bankable for at least 500 day old chicks or 1,000 day old chicks, so that we then can graduate you to NEIP, that's National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, or even MASLOC, for a support to be able to set you up. Before, we have our own farms. Nungwa, when you go to Nungwa this year, we have over 20,000 birds. When we came, we had just 2,000 birds. Now, within 20 months, we've been able to increase our birds to 20,000. Okay. We set up a small processing plant where we can process our farm produce to either sausage, burger, other, and we are getting standard authority to give us all the certification so that we can use it to even serve our shops, like ShopRite and Co. can use Ghanaian products instead of foreign imported.
Could even help with the school feeding program.
School feeding program, excellent. And that is what the collaboration we are looking to, we seek to do. And for instance, you know, Ejura, where we have big farm, we have land of cultivating. This year, for instance, we are doing over 500 acres of maize cultivation. And this maize cultivation, we process it into feed our poultry. So we don't even sell our maize that we produce. We process our own feed. We've also established our own feed mill, where we process our feed and we'll use it to feed our poultry. So the whole value chain, the service personnel are required to go through the value chain and know how to even receive the old chicks. What is the temperature? What is the vaccination? What's the medication? What are the type of fees? Okay, at what age do you expect them to start laying? At what stage? What are the record-keeping policy that you have? All this value chain you expect to learn. But once you finish, you should have a business plan so that we set you up.
That's fantastic. So you're saying now that the NSS, you've scrapped that traffic warden system?
Yes. For now, this year, we don't have traffic warden system. And your question you were asking, that if I understood you well, that we deploy people with different background to different places.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you that in our deployment process, we ensure strictly that the background, what we have studied, counts. So for instance, you go to do electrical engineering. If we post you to go and teach mathematics, it is not out of place. Because we expect that an electrical engineer should be able to teach either physics, chemistry, or mathematics. You understand? So if you have institutions like secondary school requesting that we want, even you can teach engineering, because in secondary school we have engineering programs that you also can teach. So the fact that you have been posted and you are an electrical engineer doesn't mean. But even there are shortage of engineers in this country. National Service, as where I sit, companies keep on asking for people with background with civil engineering, and also electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. Yet we don't get them. But the social sciences are huge. So if you have done psychology, you can teach social studies. Okay, majority of our service personnel are deployed to educational institutions to support rural education.
But you're saying now on record that there's no way you're going to deploy someone to an area where his expertise will not be needed. Okay, that's very encouraging. Very, very good to hear. Because I had this friend who was posted to direct traffic. And she says, well, she has no idea, no clue how she managed to get there sometime last year. So you're saying now that, do you see it as, of course, you've come up with a replacement, something which I think, and I'm sure a lot of Ghanaians will see as a very innovative thing. The traffic management system thing, do you think it was even well thought through in the first place?
It was well thought through. For National Service to solve challenges of the society. We come in to stop gap. Because we realized that at that time, the traffic was too huge.
So we needed National Service
to support the police service. So it wasn't out of place at all.
What did they learn?
At least during that process, you are talking to people, so you have people.
You're talking to pedestrians or drivers?
No, of course you are helping directing traffic, discipline. The whole idea of National Service is also to instill discipline
I don't have to be under the sun to
No, it's not under the sun. The policemen are under the sun.
I understand.
They are serving this country.
I understand that.
So if you're a national service person and we want you to dedicate just 1 year to support this cause, I think it's a lot of. And let me tell you, there are a lot of people who also come and say they want to be on the traffic management.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
That's their interest area. So the fact that you are not interested to do traffic management doesn't mean that somebody is not interested. Because that person's ambition might be he want to join the police.
Yes.
And because he want to join the police, he want to start with that and get himself enrolled into the police. So
let's take a look at this. I'm looking at this in this view. There are limited jobs. A lot of these people after national service are hoping to get some jobs. Now, if you're under the sun directing traffic for 8 hours a day, at what point are you likely to get the opportunity to get an employment? Because you are competing with others who are probably
and also the notion that they only go to be under the sun is not there.
Okay.
Because they also behind the scene go through a lot of trainings. The police institution, the MTTU will take them through some basic training, you understand, some experience, so that by the time they finish, they might have gotten some experience as well, administratively. Because in the morning, even before they are deployed to go on the street, there are certain procedures, briefings and all those things. And sometimes they attend workshops, they attend other programs, and all these experiences we expect that they gather. So that at the end of the day, even timekeeping, and you know that is the biggest challenge of this country, timekeeping, all this discipline. That's why even in our act, they said all national service personnel are supposed to go through military training.
I'm glad you brought that up.
it is in the law
that
all national service are supposed to go through military training. Because the idea in 1973, during our champions regime, when national service idea was brought, that was the time it was introduced, was to instill nationalism, discipline among Ghanaians. And because we have failed as a country to keep this exercise going through, that's why the indiscipline is so much in this country. So we rather should encourage more of our service personnel to go through some of these programs, stopgap program, to support strategic government agencies. The fact that if it
was such a good thing, why did you scrap it?
No, the fact that we are scrapping it doesn't mean that it wasn't good. We have rather identified another innovative.
But you could have added that model to it.
No, for example, because the police service themselves are recruiting higher, you know, their recruiting number, and there was a challenge at that time. Okay, the numbers were very low, and now that they have their numbers.
So you think it's
okay?
So it's a need. It's a need.
It's a need assessment that was done at that time. Now we think that there's no.
Let's talk about the military training thing you spoke about, because I know last year, for instance, you intended deploying a number of people into the military. What happened to that?
It was a program between Ghana National Service and the Ghana Armed Forces.
Okay.
So it's still ongoing, and we have to do a lot of preparation before finally you are able to deploy.
Okay.
And there is also a budget that we expect that you should have. So those budget provisions were not made. Okay. So this time we are putting all those things together to ensure that once we are rolling it out, we are not going to be able to do everybody to go through military training, but at least let's start from somewhere.
Okay.
Even if there are 500 or 1,000 people to start, at least we get the service personnel were so excited to go through the military training. As we speak, we've supported the army with over 500 service personnel.
Okay.
Okay.
So what would they be doing?
Oh, they are civilian. They are going to support them in their civilian activities, not the military side. But they will support. They have account sessions.
Yes,
they have logistics sessions. They have other administrative sessions, and they are going to support them.
Okay, that's good. So by say next year, we would have people go for military training?
Yeah, that is when the budget. You know, we have to look for money. Yeah. So once the provisions are made, we'll get our some of our men going through the military training. Okay,
great. I read somewhere that one of the key things the National Service Secretariat is keen on doing now is getting a lot of Ghanaians, perhaps in the diaspora, to do mandatory national service. Where from that thinking, and how are you going to flesh that out?
It is only fair that if you want to implement the law to the fullest, where you said every Ghanaian might have gone through national service before he get employment.
Yes.
And you have our brothers and sisters who have studied abroad. Some were even born there to Ghanaian parents. And they don't even know that it is mandatory for them to do. They one day also want to come back home to stay in Ghana. So this year, this particular service year, we introduced the International Graduate National Service Program, where whether you are born in Ghana or you are born abroad, once you are born to Ghanaian parents, you are a Ghanaian. So you will be able to do national service. And some also want to even come back home to support us. Some have expertise that we don't have, especially like the railway sector. Yeah. It is a new sector that we are opening up. If you go to London, for instance, we have a lot of Ghanaians working under the railway sector. They've graduated from universities, they have engineering, railway engineering, and if they want to come and support, national service could be a route where they can come. We deploy them to other railway development authority or railway company or Ministry of Railways, so that they support us in achieving His Excellency vision of revamping the railway sector. So also, if you go to places like Canada, US, you have other expertise. So the idea is give opportunity to every Ghanaian, whether without any geographical boundary limitation. Okay. So wherever you are, you want to do national service, you should be able to do it. So this year, even online, we had over 200 people applying, and they've been deployed successfully, and currently, as we speak, they've started their national service.
So where would they be working? Here in Ghana?
Yes, they are working. They are working here in Ghana. They've come.
Okay.
They've come. A number of them even came and paid me a visit, and they said it was a fantastic idea. Okay. That they've been yearning to come back home, and national service has given them a way of coming to.
So it's not mandatory for those outside the country.
It's mandatory for every Ghanaian. Provided you want to come back one day to serve this country in any capacity, you have to go through national service, because you might be asked whether you have gone through national service.
We are told they were, okay, well, at the vetting, we heard of some prospective ministers at the time who appear, who did not, who had not done their national service. Yet they were passed.
No, not at all. The famous one you recall, I know you don't want to mention name, is that though at the time, the law also gives leeway. Okay, the law says if at the time of graduation you are more than 40, you are 40 and above, you may apply for exemption. And you are not applying to the executive director, you apply to the board. So from time to time, I gather all the application, and at our board meeting, we make that these are the people who have applied for exemptions from national service. Then the board then scrutinize the document and give those who have qualified the exemption. The law. It's not against the law at all for exemption to be given. And even if for instance, you are a graduate from KNUST, okay, you want to be on your own, maybe you did fashion design and you want to set up a fashion industry. And you, from university, even whilst in the university, you started doing something small, and now you want to do your national service in your field, where the business you want to set up. In the company you have set up. Yeah, the company you have set up. Even if you have not set up company, we can support you.
Oh, really? To
help. When I say support, we are not giving you money to set up the company, but at least we can also guide you and so that we post you to where your company, so that it will serve as your national service.
People not exploit that and say, well, I'm working for myself, that's my national service.
We monitor you. That's why we have monitoring and evaluation unit. Okay. So if we have 1 or 2 or 100 people who says they are working for themselves, before we deploy, we will need your office, your address, your location. You understand? Let's give opportunity. We are talking of youth unemployment. Somebody wants to set up a business and he wants to work in his business. Give him opportunity and put systems in place that will check to ensure that the person is really working where he says he's working.
I see. That's good. Good, refreshing hearing all of these things. There's one other challenge I often hear about a lot of the time. It has to do with the very long queues that is characterized by these registration processes. I know last year, for instance, there was an issue about a stampede and how some military men, had to crack the whip in a way and manner in which, they ended up abusing a number of students or national service persons. What interventions are being put in place to ensure that such things don't happen? Because this year, I was told a similar thing happened.
Last year it was unfortunate, and management decided to put in system in place so that such thing don't occur again at all. This year, there is nowhere there was any chaos.
There were people who had to go at 3 a.m. just so they could do their registration. It was
just out of excitement. We asked each and everyone to book an appointment on our system. What we did was to put an appointment system in place to ensure that before even you get there, you know that this registration center, we set up we opened up the registration centers. Also, also brought a scanner. We introduced the QR code and barcode system on the appointment letter, so that when you come fast, within 30 seconds, you are able to go. Then you also have to have an appointment system, appointment letter. So in our system, before you come, you need an appointment. A number of them didn't even book an appointment before they came. And if you don't have an appointment, we can't attend to you. So it was just out of excitement. But this year, generally, registration has gone on smoothly.
Okay.
It was just when it was getting to the last bit, because service normally starts in September, somewhere 28th August, 29th August, people were thinking that because the deadline is approaching, and we said no. The last person will be given opportunity to register. There is no need to rush at all.
So there's no deadline now?
Now there is, but as we speak, there is a deadline. But as we speak, we will ensure that every single individual, so far, almost everybody have registered. Only few who haven't registered they've gone through the registration, but they are biometric capturing, and we have opened it up till December for the biometric data to be able to be.
Let me take you to an issue that happened sometime in March about a certain training program you went for at MIT, and that training program cost the taxpayer how much? $300,000?
It wasn't a training program for national service personnel. It wasn't also a training program for myself.
Okay.
It's a program designed by MIT for countries facing various challenges. There is huge unemployment challenges. Yet, at this country, you know that we have national service geared towards giving skill training and also making sure that service people serve this country. And also, at the end of the day, they should be able to get job. You have Youth Employment Agency. You have National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan. You have National Youth Authority. You have National Board for Small Scale Industry. You have MASLOC. You have a lot of agencies, all geared towards reducing unemployment. Yet, we keep on complaining that people are not getting jobs. It means what? There is something fundamental wrong with our system. So government wanted us to have a model coordination. So he brought all these youth agencies together and said, we want you to work and come up with a model. But we want MIT to support you in this direction, because MIT have done that for different countries. This year, Ghana team is there. It is a 2-year program where the modeling, to come out with the model, you do as data analysis, and you look at the geographical, the economic data, and you do all these things. Team Lagos is there last year. Okay, you have Ecuador, you have Australia, and we have Spain. A number of countries have gone through this MIT program, and the result normally is fantastic. So government decided that these youth programs, youth agencies, to also come out together and come out with this model. Then the model will be used. MIT will support us. We have MIT alumni in Ghana. So even the entrepreneurship and innovation plan model that we've rolled out is coming out of this model that we are doing. We are not waiting till we finish. We started the pilot program this year. And once the alumni are here, the MIT themselves will send some professors down. There were some professors that came down. We organized a program at Best Western for a number, and over 2,000 service personnel came and went through series of entrepreneurship program for a day. Okay, so these are all parts. So you can see the effect of this program on all these youth agencies. If it goes on well, and the model, we coordinate well. Not everybody doing his own things, but we coordinate well. You can see the impact going forward.
But the gross amount involved is 1.6 million Ghana cedis or dollars?
No, that is. You do know the impact of the Arab Spring? Can you quantify the Arab Spring to 1.5 million?
Are we at that point?
No. Let me tell you, huge. Let me tell you, youth unemployment is a critical national security issue.
Indeed it is.
Yes, so if it's a national security issue and government effort is to ensure that there is a program that will help reduce youth unemployment, then you should also know that the idle hand was what led to the Arab Spring.
So there wasn't an alternative? We couldn't have engaged some professors at the University of Ghana Business
No,
School or the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to come up with a module to help such a system?
You could engage all these professors. This program, there are
this
professors.
$1.7 million it could have helped a lot.
It's not $1.7 million.
1.7 million cedis.
So yes, and I'm telling you that it's not about national service. It's not about, there are professors as part of the cohort. You have people coming from the academia because they are doing people coming from research, and people coming from the risk industry. We have people also coming from the business community. All of these people form the team, the Ghana team. So it's not just about the youth groups. And also, once the model even is developed, the funding, you need to fund it. MIT have a platform which our universities don't have, to raise the funding, to implement the model to ensure that you reduce youth unemployment.
So you think it's justified in spending
very,
so
very
much?
Justified.
1.7 million
I
cedis?
said very, very justified.
Anyway, your deputy, Nana B, right? Is he still in office? Is he still at post?
No, Nana B is a very hard-working young man. It was a privilege working with a very strong, energetic.
Is he still at post?
Let me talk. You've asked me a question. And Nana B is still at post. He has not written to me that he has
Why is
resigned.
Nana B still at post?
Of course, he was appointed by His Excellency, the President of the Republic. And he's working for this country. So who am I to say he shouldn't be at post? What is wrong with Nana B still being at post?
I think you have the answer to that question.
No, I'm asking you, what is wrong? Because he was appointed by His Excellency the President.
Okay.
How did they appoint Nana B? And he's working as a Deputy Executive Director of Ghana National Service in charge of operations. A very fantastic young man.
So you don't see anything wrong with
Not
still
at all.
holding this
He
office,
has
even though he's holding another office as a party?
No, once it comes, it is his choice. Nana B decided to contest for the National Youth Organiser.
And he has won.
The youth of our party gave him the mandate. Okay, it is his choice to therefore decide his line of action. It's not my, it's not my decision.
So you think there's no conflict of any sort
not at all.
in the discharge of his duties as a deputy
there is no
director of
conflict at all.
How will he then turn
Peter,
away?
We have people, we serve at NADMO, Director General of NADMO, and you were a party national chairman in this country.
So it's about equalization?
It's not equalization. I'm only drawing your attention that
so
there's no any breach of any law.
It appears to be a
I said
justification.
there's no any breach.
From your
there's
point.
no any breach
you
of
seem
any
to be
law.
justifying it.
I said there is no any breach of any law. Unless you can point to me the law that Nana B has breached.
Maybe the lawyers will be
very
in a better
well.
position.
So we are waiting.
So there's nothing wrong. You think he should continue his work as
it's not my decision
problem
to tell
now
Nana B to continue or to not to continue.
I speak of the conflict situation here because how then is he, the gentleman who represents the teeming youth of your party, how then is he able to turn them away if they come to you and say, you know what, I need service posting. I need
Nana Boakye, Henry Nana Boakye has disclosed to the media already that he is ready to resign.
Why is he
so
not
if there is any question, it is you to ask him, not to ask me. I'm not the appointing authority.
Okay. So you are just working with the people the president has asked you to work with. Okay. Any idea who may replace him?
Not at all. I just told you I'm not the appointing authority.
Sorry, I almost forgot about this. The Goro boys, where are they? I didn't see any around when I came in here.
I don't know whether there are Goro boys in National Service. National Service, we don't have Goro boys here.
Oh, really?
But what unfortunate happened, and I want to use your platform to appeal to the general public, especially our youth, that especially national service, prospective national service, that nobody should heed to these unscrupulous people going around extorting monies, thinking that they can influence change of posting for one way or the other to any service personnel. So far, as I told other journalists, we've arrested a good number of people.
Okay.
And we've reported searches there. Once I got the information that people started extorting monies, I wrote officially to the National Security.
Okay.
And I wrote officially to the Director of CID. We are seriously working together to fish out all those people. If you have a genuine concern, a genuine challenge, where you think where I've posted you, for example, if you're a physically challenged person and I've posted you to a place where you think you are not comfortable, you can come to our office. We have 10 regional offices, we have 216 district offices, and we have headquarters. You can visit any of these offices and your concerns will be addressed. If you are married, okay, and you are pregnant, and I've posted you to maybe from Accra to Yagaba, okay, somewhere in the north, and you think it's a challenge to you, you can come. Because of your condition, we are flexible, we can get a place very close to you. And also family. So that's why even in our application process, we'll ask whether you are married. All these things will help us. So that we don't take you away from your families and
like. So some of the challenges here are that, you know, getting access to the organ at the top is almost always the problem. So
our office is the most accessible office. I'm proud to say that National Service Office here is the most accessible.
Not everybody who walks in here will have access to you.
It's a public office, and I'm a public servant. This office is a public office, and I'm a public servant, so I should be accessible to everyone. So that's why I'm also working with people. So if you can't even see me, I have regional directors. Of course, I cannot be in all these 216 districts. I cannot be in all the 10 regional offices. I can only be here. But that is why I have represent. So on daily basis, I get reports.
Okay.
So if I get a report that because of certain condition, you need change of posting, we will gladly do it for you if it is legitimate.
Okay. That's fine. That's good. It clears the air on a number of issues. I'm glad you even mentioned that you're a civil servant. You like to serve the people and the like. So I'm told you want to serve the people of your constituency as MP.
For now, His Excellency the President of the Republic has given me the opportunity to serve the youth of this country at Ghana National. I mean, I'm focused making sure that National Service, the reforms that are needed here
are
completed. Then my next line of action about my political future.
So are you working towards becoming an MP?
Oh, no, I'm working towards making sure the National Service is reformed properly.
And from there you become an MP?
If God think I should become I'm a
God
believer.
Is not thinking for you, you
tell
God that
I said I'm a believer and I believe in predestination.
Which constituency anyway? Which constituency?
Yagaba Kubora. I was the former MP there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're coming back?
Hopefully.
In 2020?
I'm not sure.
20. Mustapha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Mustapha Ussif is the Executive Director of the National Service Secretariat. He's been our guest today on 21 Minutes with KKB, saying, Yagaba Kubori, watch out for him. He's coming like a kite. It has been another edition of 21 Minutes with KKB. My name is Kobna Chenche, like I said earlier. I'll see you soon, hopefully, with another guest you're expecting.